refused to play the fake game.
What if I told you that the biggest betrayal Melody Shari ever experienced didn't come from her ex-husband, Martell Holt? What if the real backstab came from the very TV show she helped bring to life? That's right. Melody is now taking legal action not just against Martell, but also against Carlos King and the production company behind Love and Marriage, Huntsville. She is accusing them of using her story, her name, and even her personal struggles to make money, all without giving her the respect, credit, or pay she believes she deserves. And according to her, this isn't just reality show drama. This is a personal betrayal from people she once trusted the most.
Look at, when you look at situations that people are in who decided to war against me spiritually or be used to war against me spiritually, I would pause when saying my name too.
So why is Melody finally speaking out, and why now? Let's rewind. When Love and Marriage, Huntsville first came together, it wasn't just a random TV idea. Melody and Martell actually pitched the show to Carlos King. The goal was to showcase Black couples in Huntsville, Alabama, building businesses and living successful lives. Melody wasn't just a cast member. She was a part of the foundation. She helped form the concept, build the structure, and shape the early direction of the series. She believed she was creating something powerful, something that reflected real life, hard work, and Black excellence. At the time, Melody and Martell looked like the dream team.
Learned that in my silence, in my focusing on the bigger picture for me and my children and what God has for me, that's where my blessings come in.
They had built a real estate business, had a beautiful family, and looked unstoppable. But behind the scenes, things weren't so perfect. Even before filming started, Martell had already started cheating, and this wasn't a one-time mistake. It was an ongoing affair that Melody had to deal with privately while also preparing to appear on national television. When the show aired, producers didn't focus on the couple's business accomplishments or their efforts as entrepreneurs. They zeroed in on the drama specifically, Martell's infidelity and the breakdown of their marriage.
That I made statements of saying who I wasn't filming with or when.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to protect my peace. I've never been told of anybody saying they weren't filming with me. But I definitely said, different people that I didn't want to film with because I needed a break and I needed to be able to focus on my peace and make sure mentally that I'm good, period.
Melody's heartbreak, tears, and confrontations were turned into must-see TV. Every time she cried, walked away, or argued with Martell, those moments made the final cut. Meanwhile, scenes that showed Martell being disrespectful or aggressive, many of those didn't even air. As the seasons passed, Melody noticed that her role on the show was being twisted. Instead of showing her as the strong woman trying to rebuild her life, producers started painting her as bitter, angry, and hard to work with. Martell, on the other hand, started to get a more sympathetic story arc. He was being shown as the dad trying to fix things, while Melody was shown as the one who couldn't move on. And guess who helped push that image? Carlos King, the man who once worked side by side with her, the man she helped bring into the project.
So how has the transition into co-parenting been, and where are you guys right now?
Oh, it's been super tough and it still is super tough. And it's not because of me. I'm in a very good place. I'll be honest. I'm in a very good place. I surround myself with a lot of positive energy. I have no ill will, hard feelings about anything. I don't wake up every day thinking, how can I make this person's life miserable? I don't even think about other people. I think about my goals, what I'm trying to accomplish, and my kids.
Mm.
So I'm in that kind of a place. So it's like, okay, if you need X, Y, and Z. Okay, sure, whatever, not a problem. Like, things don't even bother or faze me. However, it has been difficult, I think, because he's so hurt by now seeing that it's really over and done. And he still says,
Melody didn't stay quiet. She raised concerns to the people behind the show. She didn't mind showing her pain, but she wanted it to be honest and balanced. She asked for fairness, but instead, she felt like the producers kept choosing Martell's side. And to make things worse, she started hearing that Carlos King and Martell were meeting behind her back. These weren't just casual check-ins. According to Melody, these meetings were about changing storylines, making Martell look better, while she was made to look like the villain. It wasn't just about what aired either. Things off camera began to spiral too. Melody drew a hard line when it came to her kids. She didn't want them dragged into the drama. But somehow, that boundary kept being crossed. Martell started mentioning the children during scenes, even using them during heated arguments. And the show didn't step in. Instead, those moments were aired like they were just more entertainment. Melody saw that her real life was being treated like content, without care, without permission, and without protection. And this is where it gets deeper. Outside of the show, Melody was thriving. She started her own skincare line. She began releasing music. She booked speaking engagements. Other networks were even starting to take notice of her talent. But every time something positive happened, negative press followed. Out of nowhere, bloggers would start posting rumors saying she was a diva on set, or unstable, or hard to work with. And the timing always seemed too perfect. It was like someone didn't want to see her win. Melody started putting the pieces together. The stories weren't random. She believes Carlos King and Martell were leaking information to gossip blogs, not just sharing inside info, but purposely feeding stories that made her look bad. For Martell, it was a chance to clean up his reputation. For Carlos, it was a way to keep the show hot and trending. But for Melody, it was sabotage. And this sabotage wasn't just hurting her feelings, it was affecting her work. Brands that wanted to partner with her backed off. Endorsement deals fell through. Campaigns were canceled because no company wants to attach their name to someone being dragged through the mud online, even if the stories aren't true. Melody saw her name being used without care, her struggles being turned into episodes, and her business suffering in real life. That's when she realized this wasn't just TV politics anymore. It was personal, and it was time to fight back. What really pushed her over the edge was what happened during season 7. Producers wanted her to confront another woman from Martell's past on camera. Can you imagine that? After already living through public embarrassment, heartbreak, and the breakdown of her family, they wanted to put her in front of the world and rehash it all again for ratings. Melody refused. She said she wouldn't do it. She set her boundary. But instead of backing off, the producers turned cold. They stopped communicating as often. Her scenes started to feel cut off or twisted. It looked like they were trying to paint her as difficult again just for saying no. That was the final straw. Melody didn't just walk away. She decided to take action. According to what's been shared publicly, Melody's lawsuit claims that the show caused real harm to her name, career, and brand. She's accusing the team behind Love and Marriage, Huntsville, of using her image and personal story without fair permission. She says they pushed false narratives, allowed private info to leak, and damaged her professionally by spreading the idea that she was unstable. More than that, she says they broke their agreements. If there were any verbal or written promises made early on, and they weren't honored, that's a serious issue. Now, Melody is seeking money for the harm she's experienced. She also might be asking for something even bigger, a restriction that would block the producers from using her face, name, or story again without her saying yes first. And if that happens, it could change the game for all reality TV stars. Reality television has been known for messy storylines, emotional breakdowns, and scandal after scandal. But behind every viral moment is a real person with a real life. And when the cameras go off, those people have to deal with the damage. If Melody wins this case, it could force networks and producers to rethink how they treat the people whose lives they put on screen. Melody Shari isn't just fighting for herself. She's sending a message to every reality star who's ever felt used, pushed, or edited into a character they don't even recognize. Some may wonder why she didn't walk away sooner. Maybe she held on to the hope that things would get better. Maybe she trusted the wrong people for too long. Or maybe, like many strong women, she put her dreams, her family, and her audience before her own peace. But now, she's done playing along. She's no longer staying silent. She's done being used for someone else's profit. And she's ready to speak up in the courtroom, not just on camera. As the lawsuit unfolds, people will be watching closely. Will her claims hold up in court? Will the truth about how reality TV really works finally come to light? And what happens next for love and marriage, Huntsville? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, Melody isn't backing down. She's standing up not just for herself, but for every woman who's ever been told to sit quietly while others used her pain for their gain. So what do y'all think? Was Melody right to take legal action? Should she have done this earlier, or was this the perfect moment to finally take control? Let us know your thoughts down below. And if you want the full breakdown when the case goes to trial, you already know what to do. Hit that like button, share the video, and make sure you're subscribed. Because the real story, it's just getting started.